Okay, good morning to all of you. I welcomes to all in our lecture series on statistical mechanics, that is your core paper 14, belongs to 6th semester BSc syllabus. In our last class we have been discussed radiation pressure. Actually, in our last class we have been discussed up to this much, up to equation number 11. That means you can say most of the things we have been discussed in our last class up to 11 equation you can check. That means around 80 percentage of this topic we have already discussed in detail in our last class, and in today class we are going to be starts from here. Okay, so let's start. Hence in this way we found that area of elementary ring ABCD equal to 2 pi r square sin theta d theta. That is our equation number 11. Now initially we have been considered that n number of beams or n number of photons are evenly or uniformly distributed in all the directions. That means whatever the radiations are coming towards this surface, that radiation is nothing but your capital N number of photons. Capital N numbers of photons which are uniformly distributed over this hemisphere. See, whenever we are going to consider a diffused radiation is coming towards the surface, this is our surface, no? OP surface. Then here we have been considered that n numbers of beams or photons are uniformly distributed over this hemisphere. Because we could not say that this way, in this way only the photon particles are coming towards this surface. Maybe this way it will become, maybe this way it will become. So in all the way the photon particles are coming towards this surface. So hence above this surface, let n numbers of photons are coming towards this surface, that n numbers of photons are uniformly distributed over this hemisphere, and we know that surface area of a sphere is nothing but 4 pi r square. R is the radius. So if we are going to consider this is the radius, then this is a imaginary sphere, then surface area of this whole sphere is 4 pi r square. So hence surface area of this hemisphere will be divided by 2. The surface area of this hemisphere will be equal to how much? 2 pi r square. That means here, through this surface having the value is 2 pi r square, through this 2 pi r square surface area, how many numbers of beams or photon particles are crossing and striked on the surface. N number of photons, that means n number of photons are distributed uniformly on this hemisphere, distributed uniformly on this hemisphere, having the surface area will be how much? 2 pi r square. Same thing it has been written over here. Since n number of beams or photons are uniformly distributed over the surface of the hemisphere, which surface area which surface area equal to how much? 2 pi r square. Okay, now the therefore here it is written that therefore the small number of photons or beams which passing through the area of the ring, what we how much we found? 2 pi r square sin theta d theta. 2 pi r square sin theta d theta will be how much here? Through this total hemisphere, how many numbers of particle or beams passing through? That is your n numbers. If we are going to consider this much area only, the area having this ring, if we are consider this much area only, then how many numbers of particles or beams or photons, whatever you can say, how many numbers of beams or photons are going to passing through this area? That we are going to be calculate. So here let dn is the small number of particles passing through the surface area of the ring, surface area 2 pi r square sin theta d theta. We have to calculate what will be the value of dn. See, through the 2 pi r square area, means through this whole surface area of the hemisphere, how many numbers of particles are crossing? That is your n. That means through 2 pi r square, n numbers of particles, capital N number of particles, n number of beams or n number of photons crossing through this 2 pi r square, right? In one unit of area, how many numbers of beams will be passed through? 2 pi r square, n by 2 pi r square. In the surface area this much, this is the surface area of this elemental ring. So through this elemental ring, how many numbers of particle are going, photons or beams are going to be passed through? So through this area, number of photons or beams are this much. For unit area, number of beams or photons will be this much. Through 2 pi r square sin theta into d theta, through this surface area, this is the surface area of the ring, elemental ring. Through this surface area, how many numbers of beam are going to be passed, or how many numbers of photons are going to be passed through? N by 2 pi r square into 2 pi r square sine theta into d theta. Same thing it has been written over here. I have been directly written. Here is the explanation. Okay. Therefore, the small number of photons or beams which passing through the area of ring in bracket 2 pi r square sine theta d theta will be how much? Let that is your dn number, small amount of beam, small number of beams, dn will be equal to how much we found? 2 pi r square sine theta d theta divided by 2 pi r square into n. Okay, so that implies dn will be equal to here 2 pi r square, 2 pi r square got cancel. We found n sine theta d theta. Let this is your equation number 12. Then come to the next page, that here if I am going to take n to this side, so it will be dn by n. dn by n is nothing but your sine theta d theta. So here what is the meaning of dn by n? dn by n is nothing but how many numbers of particles from total number of particles. dn by n means how many numbers of particles from total number of particles, or we can say this is your representation of fraction of beams incident, or you can say passing through between angle theta and theta plus d theta, or you can say passing through the elemental area of the ring. So how much number of photons, or you can say fraction of photons. This is dn by n is nothing but fraction of photons. Your beam, just write photons. The fraction represents the fraction of beams or photons incident, or you can write also passing through between angle theta and theta plus d theta is your sine theta into d theta. Let this is your equation number 13. Now, therefore, small change in pressure dP will be dP equal to dn by n into u cos square d theta. So here small change in pressure dP. So here dP is your small change in pressure, that it will be dn by n into u cos square theta. How it is? See, we know that previously total pressure is your u cos square theta. Here, so from the equation number 10, we found that total pressure is equal to u cos square theta. Here total pressure means what? So here P is represents the total rate of change of momentum. Total, carefully you have to watch. Here total rate of change of momentum is P. And this total rate of change of momentum can be found if we are going to consider the total number of beams or photons is n. So if we are going to consider total number of beams or photons, or n numbers of beams or photons are incidents over this hemisphere, then total rate of change of momentum will be P, and this will be u cos square theta, right? Now through the surface area in between theta and theta plus d theta, or through the surface area, this one, through the surface area of the ring, or having the area is 2 pi r square d theta sine 2 pi r square sine theta d theta. How many numbers of photons are passed through? That is your dn number. Okay, so here if we are considering dn numbers of photons or beams is going to be passed through, then what will be the change in pressure? Here it is simple. See, for n number of beams or photons, total change in pressure is u cos square theta, whatever already we found in your equation number 10. Here equation number 10. Okay, now for one particle, what is the change of pressure? Will be u cos square theta by n, right? For dn number of particles, what is the change of pressure? It will be u cos square theta by n into dn, right? So it can be written as also dn by n into u cos square theta. Okay, whatever written here. Therefore, small change in pressure due to dn for a number of particles, change in pressure is your the so-called total pressure u cos square theta. For one particle or for one beam, it will be u cos square theta by n. For dn particle, it will be into dn, or it can be written as dn by n into u cos square theta. Okay, that implies dp will be equal to, here dn by n we found sine theta d theta. Just put over here sine theta into d theta into u cos square theta. Let this is your equation number 14. These things we have been found from equation number 13. Okay, now we have to integrate both the side of equation number 14. What we are going to get? Simple thing, just integrate this side, we are going to get the total change of pressure, and integrating this side also we are going to get the value, corresponding value. We can get the net pressure exerted by all possible rings. Okay, so here this is your pressure exerted by the particles or by the photons which are passing through that elemental ring. If I am going to integrate, then I am going to find out pressure exerted by possible of rings within the hemisphere. This is for one ring, and if I am going to integrate, I can find all the possible rings. See, this is one ring, this will be another ring, this will be another ring, like this. Okay, and this will be another ring, like that. Right hand side it will give that one whenever we have to integrate. So here 0 to p dp equal to u is constant taken outside, integration over this one cos square theta sin theta into d theta, and the limit we have considered 0 to pi by 2. Why 0 to pi by 2? Here you can see 0 is considered as this ring. Suppose this ring, if I am going to consider, if I am going to change somewhat angle, I am going to find out another ring. Okay, change the angle, another ring. You got my point. For 0, this is the ring. For a small angle, this will be another ring. Here I am going to show you. I should not disturb this main figure. Why pi by 2? See, for angle 0, this ring. For next angle, this ring. For another angle, this ring. So angle increased like this. So this will be your last ring. So angle changed from 0 to pi by 2. Okay, so if we are going to consider 0 to pi by 2, then all the rings will be considered in that range of the angle. So 0 to pi by 2 cos square theta into sin theta d theta. Now cos theta considered as x. So derivative of cos theta is your minus sin theta d theta into dx. Now here limit is going to be changed, that whenever we are going to consider 0, so cos 0 will be 1 and pi by 2 the limit will be 0. So instead of theta, when it will transform towards x, the limit is going to be changed from 0 to pi by 2 as 1 to 0. So u here 0 to pi by 2 is changed from changed to 1 to 0, and this is cos square theta is your x square. Here sin theta d theta will be minus dx. Okay, so here minus has been omitted because the limit has been exchanged. So we know that 1 to 0, if it will be exchanged to 0 to 1, it will be minus. So minus already minus plus. So u 0 to 1 x square dx. Now integration of x square is nothing but x cube by 3. Limit 0 to 1. You just put 1, it will be 1 by 3, 0, it will be 0. So at last we found p will be equal to u by 3. P equal to u by 3. This is the one of the interesting result that we found at last. What we found? Here we concluded that the pressure of diffused radiation is equal to 1/3 of its energy density. But for the normal incidence, it is equal to energy density. For the normal incident, P equal to U. But for the diffusion radiation, it will be equal to 1/3 of the energy density. Okay, so this is all about your radiation pressure. Carefully go through this video, pause the video and write down the note. Okay, and next class we are going to be discuss about Stefan Boltzmann law and its thermodynamic proof. Okay, I suggest carefully go through this video, pause the video and write down the note. Okay, so before I have to end this class, I am going to give you a small instruction whatever we have been discussed in our last class. Actually we have been discussed Kirchhoff's law. Okay, Kirchhoff's law we have been discussed. So I think maybe you have somewhat confusion here, because whenever I rechecked that video, I saw that here I not elaborated that why E lambda is written as capital E lambda. Let's see, it is very simple, very simple. For a perfect black body, A lambda absorptive power will be 1, right? Absorptive power at a particular wavelength is 1 for a perfect black body, that we know. And this small e lambda is represents what? Small e lambda is represents emissive power of a particular body, of any body. Okay, so if small e lambda represents emissive power of a body, then emissive power of a black body is going to be represented as what? Capital E lambda. That's it, nothing else. Okay, so here E lambda is written as capital E lambda because here we considered the perfect black body. So only for that E lambda is considered as capital E lambda. So hence the equation number 4 will be your A lambda is equal to 1 and E lambda is substituted as capital E lambda D lambda dq equal to E lambda D lambda. That is your equation number 5. Then I explained in detail. So here you will be confused. So this is the explanation. So thank you so much for watching the video regarding this one. Again, I suggest go through this video carefully and write down the note and ready for the next class. Thank you so much. Thank you.